Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I am Dr. Lisa, and I am a people, culture, and operations solutionist. More specifically, here on LinkedIn, I provide a safe space to speak about issues going on within the workplace or within society and how they can impact us professionally and personally, and just discuss ways for you to be greater and a CEO within your life and within your career. And for the current segments that I've been doing for the past 7 days, I've been speaking on different aspects and learning lessons from Black History Month. And today is February 7th, 2026, the seventh day of Black History Month. And today's topic will focus on societal push is the key to change. Yes, a good topic and something that we're living through right now, as well as we see the push for change in all aspects of American society and in all aspects of how we work and how we live and how we move forward into the future. And that is definitely something that is a learning lesson from from Black History Month and the history of Black history within America. And it's important to understand that nothing shifts just because power has a change of heart. It shifts when people apply pressure that's consistently, loudly, and strategically, forward and out there. That pressure is magnified the more that we all come together, the more that we speak out, the more that we march, the more that we, speak out and demand justice and accountability within the workspace, within society, within all areas of our lives. And that push is what is helping to move us forward. If we look back into the founding of America, as we can say, the founding of America, and the understanding is that it was because of the push of society, the push of people to no longer want to be represented by the crown, right? And we had the American Revolution, and we could go forth with all these other wars that America went through. But since we're specifically speaking on Black history, we could focus on the push to end slavery, right? And it was all due to the economics of America and the try to balance out really the war, honestly. It's really what it was. Really what it was. We were a tool, we were an advancement to try to advance society and to gain control. It's always been about control if you really, really, really think about it. And then even then after the Civil War, we could look at the push, to end Reconstruction, right? We had Reconstruction and then there was the push to end it. So as you can see, societal push can be for a benefit or it can be for a hindrance, depending on what side you're on. But regardless, that push is the key to driving change. That's how we've gotten here so far. And as we could say, after Reconstruction, right, then we move into the Jim Crow era, right? There was the push for Jim Crow on the white side, right? But then you have on the other side where as long as it's not bothering us up north, right? So it's happening, but we don't see it. Look, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. That's one of the things about America, right? It's all about if it's happening over there, it's not really. It's okay, right? I don't think it's a moral good thing or anything like that. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. Hello, good evening, or actually, hello, good day, depending on where you are in the world. Um, that's one thing about America is we have this thing where if something's happening over there, right? It regardless of if it's morally or ethically wrong or good, we don't care as long as it's not affecting us, right? But that's not really what it should be about. And that's really how don't come on here with that. That's really what it's about, is the idea that how society shifts and the thinking of society is what drives change. It doesn't matter what side you're on, no matter what you believe. You think I'm lying, but you're probably on that side that if I'm lying, then you're on the side that feels, oh, she's lying. Oh, hate DEI, screw DEI. And so you're on the side that has pushed to remove DEI, meaning that I'm not lying because that was the societal push that was used. It doesn't matter if you're American or not. How you are in society, whatever's going on where you live, if you have a collective that truly believes something, they can band together and drive change. Doesn't matter if it's American. I'm just speaking from an American perspective because that's what we're focusing on and that's what the topic is about. See, slow down. Coming in the room and you don't know what's going on. Thank you, whoever withheld that. But anyways, slow down. I don't care about what your society is doing. It's not about just you. That's the whole point of the live. It's not just about you. We live in a whole world where other people are going through so many different things and they are driving change with society. They are doing the things that are necessary. That's what it's about, you know? And if you can't handle that and you don't understand that, then you've got a problem because that's how the world moves. The world moves by collectives and organization and speaking up and standing up from what is right. Standing up for what is right. Standing up for what is right. And that's just what it is. And that's just what it is. And that's just what it is. Yes, exactly. Be the change that you want. Exactly. Exactly. Be the change that you want. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this. Societal push is the key to change. That's what drives change. And sometimes it can drive it for in a positive way or in a negative way. And that's the whole point of this. And that's the whole point of us looking to raise our voice and to be, willing to speak up and willing to, yes, we are all one. Yes, yes. We are all one. It's very true. We are all one. And it's all about, recognizing that and stop being divisive and looking about things in a divisive way and respecting everyone and in providing opportunities for everyone. That's what it's really all about. And for us to lead from an inspiring way, because there's someone that views us in an inspirational way, correct, right? Someone's viewing you as a leader and you need to move as a leader because as you move, they will be influenced and inspired and motivated as well. They will be motivated and inspired as well. And that's what it's all about. And that's because it's all about recognizing the power that you have. And you cannot advance your power without a system and without a strategy. And that's all about, how you're working together as a collective to push and drive for change. And if you want progress to last, you have to have these systems in place. That's what creates the actual accountability. And that's why when we go about and we see that there's no actual accountability actually happening, yeah, same consciousness, just different name, color, and imaginary stories. I could say that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all about moving forward in a positive way and not looking to, because we have to be honest with ourselves. We live in a world where society, the power is only at the top, what, 0.0001%. Those are the main ones that are dangling everybody around like a puppet and deciding what gets passed, what works, what doesn't work, how the world should operate, who gets what, who doesn't get what, how we all move about, even down to what's acceptable and not acceptable within the country that you live, within the city that you live, the state that you live, the parish that you live, wherever. All of that and all of that. So, in order to have actual balance, that's where the societal push comes from, right? And that's the importance of also sticking together, ensuring that we're all working as a collective so that it doesn't become imbalanced, right? Because people can be easily swayed. And that's where you get people that can move about and even be there to dismantle the drive and the change that you're trying to make. And they all for the hope of being aligned with the power that we're trying to dismantle or to trying to level out. And that's the scary part. And that's why it's so hard to move forward in societies today because it's so much imbalance and people get so swayed by what could happen if they're aligned with those in power and the idea that they can also have that power because it's promised to them but with no guarantee and it also coming with stipulations. So in the end, they're hindering the push for change all for this idea or this illusion that they think that they're going to have because they've aligned with those in power to hinder how the world can go about and move forward in an effective way. And that's very scary. And that's why we have no advancement. And that's why we still have the continued issues that we have now, regardless of where you are in the world, where people are still struggling and they should not be. People are becoming victims of a cycle of abuse and a cycle of abuse. A cycle of abuse. So that's what makes it very sad that we're repeating these same behaviors and everyone's kind of complacent with it. You have some that are waking up and they're mad and they're recognizing we're not really having any change. Yes, we have new technologies, but the way we operate in the world has not really changed. You know, it's depending on where you are in the world. I know definitely here in America, nothing has really changed. Nothing has really changed. You could go about with infrastructure and all that, but if you say technology as far as AI and all of that type of stuff, that's new. But how we operate in society, it's still the same. Even down to the roads and the infrastructure that we still have is pretty much still the same from like the 70s. Nothing has really changed. You may have some new modern buildings, but nothing has really changed. And that's because the drive for real improvement is not there. You know, you have the societal desire, and that's the opportunities, the jobs, and all of that would bring, right? But it's never been there. Even when it comes down to politicians saying, oh, we're going to do that, but it never goes anywhere. And that's what has hindered the actual balance, right? Because if those opportunities were really there, you wouldn't have all the systemic problems and the societal problems when it comes to having a living wage and having opportunities for advancement and even opportunities for new employment and all those types of things. So that's just a good example of how the societal push has been hindered, because you get distracted by politics and things like that. And really, you forget what we're missing, what needs to be driving change, what's out there, how do we go about change, and us recognizing how we got here in the first place. And how we got here in the first place was because we were focused on building a way of living. And that got lost over time. It always seems to be a form of distraction that comes out and takes that away from us, or something that's viewed as a new opportunity, but really isn't. Such as we can think about during the 60s and the push for the end for segregation. I am a descendant of one of the first petitioners for Brown versus Board of Education. So in all actuality, I am the first real freeman, descendant of my family, because my mother grew up in segregation. In segregation, you were not free as an African American. You still were not allowed to go where you wanted freely. So yes, I am a descendant of parents of segregation. So that means that I am the first free Black descendant of my family, me, my sister, and our generation. And if you were born in the 70s and 80s, you are also a free descendant, the first free descendant, because our parents were a part of segregation. And that's a truth that nobody wants to recognize, but that's a truth that is real. That if you are a descendant of those, as I mentioned, Brown and versus Board of Education, which was the real last push for change from a societal aspect. The second would probably be when the early 80s and in the 70s, the push for DEI type of rules in society would have been the AT&T legislation, where they were sued for unfair wages and unfair opportunities. You know, that was the first implementation of DEI within the workplace. But that was also a push that was put in through societal push when it was looking at, women getting actual fair wages and being able to get jobs and things like that. All of that's from the 70s and early 80s. So that's how you move into this actual free mentality. And that's just what it is. No, it's not victim blaming, honey. These are facts. These are facts. You got to know your history. These are facts. And if you don't like it, then that's okay. But nobody's being a victim. These are just all understandings of the importance of societal push for change. And when you're pushing for change, you're not just focusing on one person. You're focusing on all, because that's just what this is all about. This is all about us learning from the past so that we all can have a fair and equal opportunity. Because right now, only the top 0.0001% are the ones benefiting. Everyone else is not. So that's not a victim blaming thing. That's a fact. The fact that opportunities are not being equally provided to everyone. This is not based on race. This is not based on where someone lives or location or anything like that. Because that's what DEI is. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's the fair opportunity for all. If you're a veteran, you're under DEI. If you have any medical issue, DEI is protecting you. Some jobs won't even hire you if you have certain medical issues. That's what it is. So regardless of what other people want to tell you, I'm here to let you know. And I'm not mad. You could believe whatever you want to believe, but I'm here to educate you. That's what I'm here for. That's why I'm online. I'm here to educate you and let you know that the things that we have been taught are not true. And it doesn't matter what you think. You could take DEI away all you want, but taking it away, has it provided you a new opportunity? Have you benefited from that? Have the people around you benefited from that? I don't see it, because I see a lot of jobs that are being taken away. It's a lot of opportunities that have been taken away. That's why I'm speaking. And that's why I'm saying this is important. This is not just about one type of person. This is about all of us. And that's where you're getting lost. That's where you're getting lost. No, I don't do card tricks. And that's where you're getting lost. Because I'm not speaking for just one person. I'm speaking for us all. I'm speaking to move us all forward. Well, if you know the truth, then why are you here? Bye. It's not for you. You don't need to hear it. There's no need for you to be here. You can go somewhere else because you don't want to be benefited from it. Bye. Bye. It's okay. We won't miss you. Bye. Bye. Have a good day. Hope you have a good weekend. Bye. Let someone else learn. But yes, as I was saying, this push, that's why this push is necessary. It's necessary for us to not be fearful, but also not to be afraid to speak. Like I just engaged with that individual. I'm not mad. He doesn't want to believe what I have to say. That's fine. That's okay. You can go somewhere else where someone, will want to engage, and somewhere where you want to listen. I'm here to move us forward as a collective, as a human race. And I'm not just speaking from just a societal aspect. I want us all to win. I'm speaking a lot about the workplace and workplace issues, but this also leans into society. And society is what pushes how businesses operate. We can look at how corporations change, how they market to people, how they sell products, how they design products, even down to even just an example of McDonald's, and how the menu in McDonald's in America is not the same as in other countries around the world. Because not everybody eats the same. Not everybody has the same palate or has the same diet. It's different. And that's the same with everything when it comes down to what I'm speaking about. And that's the importance of a societal push. I can't open up a regular average American McDonald's and then take it to, let's say, India, and we're serving hamburger. That society does not eat that. And I can't force that on them. That society will push back. And then the business will not make any money. And this is an example of why I have these talks. Because we as people, we the society, we as employees, we as the workforce, we as humans, we determine how corporations are successful, how corporations should operate, how governments should operate. We determine that because we're voting them in. We're buying the products. We're the ones working for them. We're doing it, the human. And that's what this is all about. Us recognizing that our voice truly matters. Because we are the society. When businesses come into our communities, when politicians and things like that are operating within our communities, they have to respect us and who we are and how we operate and how we live and the needs and desires and the things that we need to live effective lives. That's what it's all about. And that means respecting you. Respecting you, ensuring that you're paid fairly, ensuring that you're treated properly, your family is treated properly, the environment you live in is treated properly. All of these things matter. All of these things matter. And this is why it's important for us, our own individual selves, to operate as leaders, because we are leaders. I'm in Virginia, United States, Virginia. But that's why it's important for us to operate as leaders. We are leaders. You may think of yourself as just an average individual living on Earth, living on Earth and walking around and just doing your life. But regardless, you are still a leader. And you probably got your friends and they look up to you, or family members and those that may be younger than you, or even those that are older than you. And they look up to you and they're watching you and they're seeing how you operate. They're seeing the type of job that you're doing, the work that you're doing, the school and things that you're studying, all of that type of stuff. And it's empowering them. It's influencing them. Or you may look at other people and feel the same. You're looking at someone like, oh, she's so brave. She speaks up. Oh my God, she really is doing that job. I'm proud of her. And that's going to inspire you. English. English is my native tongue. And that's going to inspire you. So that's why it's important for us to inspire others and for us to even inspire ourselves. And we can do that by going back and looking at how we've operated in our lives, the decisions that we made, the choices that we made, the choices that we want to make, right? And how that can help us to move forward and be better people as well. But I think the most important aspect of this and the most important thing that we can come from this talk and me talking is understanding that societal push opens doors because it sparks an idea. It leads to a conversation and it drives us to want to do more, to want to be better, right? Because we come in and we bound with a collective. And from there, we can look at ways of improvement, ways that are innovative to drive change for the better, right? It's not all about just about me. And I think that's something that's important. We have to stop living in this world where we think everything is just about us. It's not just about us. It can't be about us. We can't, not in the world we live in now, because we are all relying on each other. And us relying on each other means that we have to band our voices together so that we can push movement for better life for us and everyone else. And that's the only way that we can actually have a happy and effective world, happy, effective life, and a job and a career that we like. What's the point of living if we're not happy? There's no point. There's no point. The whole point is to live a happy life. And if you're not able to live a happy life, then what is the purpose of you complaining? Like, you got to make that change. You can't complain about it. You got to make that change. And sometimes just us speaking to one person will drive someone else to have an innovative idea that will push others. So that's the whole idea and the learning lesson of Black History Month. If there's one thing that we can learn from that, regardless of what you believe, is that societal push is the key to change. That's the key to driving anything within the world, is our voice. The willingness to speak up, the willingness to not be afraid to hear the word no, not being afraid that something's going to be hard, not being afraid that someone's going to call you out for something that you may be embarrassed about, especially when you're looking to push for change. I think that's the main reason why a lot of people don't want to push for change, because they're fearful. They're fearful that their secrets will come out, or the things that they hold dearly will be opened. Pandora's box will be opened and everything about them is unveiled. Fear. And that fear is what's holding us back. So with anything that can be learned from this is that my dog, anything that can be learned from this is not to be fearful and to move with tenacity. Most definitely. And to move with strength and courage and bravery. And with that, I leave you with that. And I will be back on again tomorrow. So until then, be the change and love yourself and others. Bye.